The Garden of Eden, a topic that has been the subject of much debate and speculation throughout history. To religious individuals, the existence of this biblical paradise may be a given. However, even those who do not believe in the Christian God may still find themselves intrigued by the possibility of its existence. After all, the Bible's stories must have had some geographical basis, sparking arguments and curiosity. Scientists have been particularly interested in uncovering the location of the Garden of Eden and have scoured ancient texts for any clues that may lead them to its whereabouts. In recent years, advancements in remote sensing, archaeology, and DNA studies have offered some compelling evidence as to where the Garden of Eden may be located, and what they have discovered is truly intriguing, making it a topic that is sure to fire up any conversation. So stay tuned as we uncover the mysteries surrounding the Garden of Eden and discover the truth about this ancient paradise. The Garden of Eden, a paradise on earth described in the Old Testament book of Genesis as the place where Adam and Eve, the first humans created by God, resided before they were banished for breaking God's laws. It is also referred to as the Garden of God and the Garden of Yahweh, the God of Israel, in Genesis and Ezekiel respectively. The word Eden is most likely derived from the Sumerian word Eden, which means plain, and the Akkadian word Adino, which is a loaned word from Sumerian. According to the Genesis account of the creation and fall of man, rivers gushed from Eden to the east of Israel and all the way to the four corners of the globe, making it a place of great importance in both religious and geographical contexts. According to Sumerian archives, the ancient Middle East was believed to be the location of an earthly paradise. Various regions have claimed to be the site of humanity's first home, including Iraq, the Persian Gulf, Bahrain, Iran, Anatolia, Armenia, Turkey, Jerusalem, East Africa, and even the Isle of Lewis in Scotland and Jackson County in Missouri. However, there has been little concrete evidence to support these claims, leaving many to question whether the Garden of Eden truly existed, and if so, where it was located. Despite the lack of definitive proof, there have been credible theories proposed about the location of the Garden of Eden based on clues provided in the biblical text. One of the most obvious hints is the mention of rivers in the biblical text, which are believed to still be identifiable today. This has led some scholars to believe that the answer to the age-old question of the Garden of Eden's location may have been in plain sight all along. The book of Genesis in the Bible tells of a place known as the Garden of Eden, which is said to be located in southern Mesopotamia. Today, this region is known as Iraq. According to recent findings, the garden may be situated approximately 35 miles north of Mosul, Iraq, and within an hour's drive of areas under the control of the Islamic State. Two rivers mentioned in the biblical text, the Tigris, also known as the Hiddle of Eden, and the Great Euphrates, also known as the Parath of Eden, suggest that the Persian Gulf may also be a possible location of the garden. However, recent archaeological discoveries have uncovered a site dating back 11,000 years, located between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. It is believed that for over 12,000 years, civilizations such as the Sumerians, Assyrians, Chaldean, Persians and Arabs have risen and fallen in the area. It is also said that the origins of organized farming, early cities, and writing can be traced back to this region. Despite its depiction in history as a peaceful place, the current state of Iraq, the home of the Garden of Eden, is far from it. The nation has become synonymous with sectarian killings, suicide bombings, kidnappings, and a large number of refugees as a result of one of the most contentious and emotionally charged wars in recent history. The destruction of the marshlands of southern Iraq is widely considered to be one of the most significant ecological and cultural catastrophes of the 20th century. On par with the disappearance of the Aral Sea and the devastation of the Amazon rainforest, the marshlands of southern Iraq were a unique and fragile ecosystem that provided a home for the Madar or marsh Arabs, a population that had lived in harmony with the marshes for thousands of years. The destruction of the marshlands began in the 1990s when Saddam Hussein, the dictator of Iraq, ordered the construction of large-scale water management projects to drain the marshes and create new agricultural land. Using a combination of dams, canals, and dikes, Saddam's soldiers removed an astounding 6,000 square kilometers of wetlands, an incredible feat of engineering that was met with astonishment by even seasoned engineers. The new rivers and canals that were created during this process diverted the Euphrates and Tigris away from the marshlands, effectively cutting off the water supply that sustained the marshes. Additionally, Saddam's soldiers burned the region's reed beds and destroyed the local flora and fauna, further exacerbating the environmental damage. Despite the very obvious environmental harm being done, Saddam pressed on with his agenda. According to historians, the marsh region had developed into a new hub of the Iraqi opposition by the 1990s and was predominantly populated by rebels. Saddam's project was political and spiteful, as he sought to deny his opposition a base of operations in the region. Fortunately, Saddam was deposed before he could completely ruin the entire area, but there's no doubt that he did some remarkable damage to the region. By the time he was removed from office, around 80,000 Maydar or marsh Arabs had lived in the marshes, in towns and on floating islands. In 1991, when the marshes were drained, 450,000 people relied on the marshes for their livelihoods and were left displaced, with 30,000 refugees going to the US and 70,000 to Iran. The remainder were relocated, and the population of the biggest city fell from 67,000 to just 6,000 by 2003. Despite the devastation wrought by Saddam's regime, restorative efforts are ongoing, and the marshlands of southern Iraq were listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2016. The restoration of the marshes is an ongoing process, and it will take many more years to restore the marshes to their former glory. But it is a testament to the resilience and determination of the Maydar or marsh Arabs and the international community, who are working together to preserve this unique and fragile ecosystem for future generations. The marshes of Iraq, known for their rich biodiversity and historical significance, have long been a part of the country's cultural heritage. Spanning across the eastern regions of the country, the marshes have been a source of livelihood for local communities for centuries. However, their existence has been threatened by a variety of factors, including the construction of dams by neighboring countries and political actions taken by past leaders. During the rule of Saddam Hussein, the marshes were deliberately drained as part of a campaign to punish the local population, who were seen as being disloyal to the regime. This had a devastating impact on the ecosystem, resulting in the loss of over 90% of the marsh's original area. In the years following Hussein's fall, the United Nations launched an ambitious $11 million effort to restore the marshes. This included the removal of obstructions that were preventing water from flowing into the area and the construction of new infrastructure to help bring the marshes back to life. Despite these efforts, the marshes continue to face challenges. The construction of dams by Turkey and Syria has disrupted the flow of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, leading to a reduction in the amount of water that reaches the marshes. Additionally, the marshes are located in a remote and anarchic area where poor populations have a history of rejecting authority. This has made it difficult to implement effective conservation and management measures. Today, the marshes remain a shadow of their once lush wetlands, with vast tracts of cracked earth replacing the lush wetlands of the past. It is a sad reminder of the destructive impact of human actions on the natural world and a testament to the fragility of the ecosystems that sustain us. Conservationists and local communities continue to work tirelessly to protect and preserve the remaining marshes, but much more needs to be done to secure their future. The purported location of the Garden of Eden, The biblical paradise described in the book of Genesis has long been a subject of debate among scholars and historians. Some believe that it is located in present-day Iraq, specifically in the marshlands of southern Iraq, known as the Marsh Arabs. However, the devastating droughts that have ravaged the region in recent years have made it increasingly difficult to verify this theory. The severe droughts that have affected Iraq and neighboring nations have had a devastating impact on the marshlands, reducing vast areas of once lush wetlands to dry, barren landscapes. The local Lake Umal Nas has been reduced to nothing more than a series of muddy puddles, and the vegetation in the area is turning yellow. The Chaibesh marshes, which were once home to a thriving ecosystem, are now surrounded by dry stream beds and are experiencing the same fate as the wider marshes. According to a resident who lives in a village next to the marshlands, the marshes were our livelihood. We used to fish here and our livestock could graze and drink. However, academics have suggested that the farmers and fishermen who still reside in the area could be contributing to the decline of the marshes by utilizing unrestricted chemical use and electric shocks while fishing. These illegal practices are inadvertently killing animals, contaminating water, risking human health, and hindering the restoration of one of the greatest wetlands in the world. Despite the challenges facing the marshlands, the Iraqi government remains optimistic that the area will eventually develop into a tourist haven. They have been keen to stress that the supposed home of the Garden of Eden and Babylon, the birthplace of civilization, will soon be history and that the region will once again flourish. However, with the ongoing droughts and the illegal practices of local residents, it remains to be seen whether or not the marshlands will ever return to their former glory. In conclusion, the true location of the Garden of Eden remains a mystery, and the debate over whether or not it is located in Iraq continues to be a subject of much discussion among scholars and historians. However, the ongoing challenges faced by the marshlands and the illegal practices of local residents make it increasingly difficult to verify this theory. Only time will tell if the marshlands will ever return to their former glory, and if the true location of the Garden of Eden will ever be uncovered. If you enjoyed this video, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Comment down below what you think about this video.